Today we are going to be talking about rewards. Do they work? I am Jody St. Clair, and this is Adventures in Suzuki Parenting. Nowadays, there's a lot of confusing information out there about parenting. Rewards. Do they work? Don't use them. Use sparingly. Reward with sweets. You can find anything out there. So I'm here to tell you what I've used with my students and my kids successfully. And we've done a little bit of a mix of everything as parents. And the key to using rewards is to not use them out of desperation. I promise we'll get ice cream as long as you just do this thing. I think we've all been in situations where we feel like that's the only solution. And that kind of reward is not the kind of reward that works. So there are going to be 3 kinds of rewards that we're going to talk about today. If you have used a reward that successfully, I would love it if you shared it in the comments below. Because these 3 things are probably not an exhaustive list, and I would love to hear what you've used with your students or your kids. So the first kind of reward that we're going to talk about is what I call a Kickstarter reward. The Kickstarter reward is there to kind of repair bad habits. We used this reward when we had just kind of not gotten into our practice groove, and if anything, we'd been practicing long enough and not gotten in a groove that we had some bad habits we needed to repair. Now on this case, when as a parent, we did choose to use a little bit of something sweet. So my son got a chocolate chip each time he did one of the things off of his practice list. I felt comfortable with that, and I know that's not what everybody's thing, but I knew that for my son, that was what was going to motivate him. He was never a sticker kid. That was just not that was the thing that was going to work. And every child is different. So if you're thinking that you need to use a Kickstarter reward, you need to kind of think about what is it that motivates your child. So these can establish a new routine, they can get things going, and very key is a Kickstarter reward is temporary. It's not something you're going to use long term. So eventually when we were doing the chocolate chip thing, it didn't take very long. We got going a little bit better, and then we really didn't need it at all. So it just started to get phased out, or I just forgot to bring them out. And sometimes I would be reminded, where's our chocolate chips? But eventually he was forgetting as well. So the next kind of reward that we're going to be talking about is a big goal. I love setting goals, and I do a lot of goal setting in my studio. We have 100 days of practice, we have point systems with practice, and we have book graduations. These goals are something that we're going to want to have some sort of reward for at the end. I really believe that that kind of reward is important. I know when I have been striving for something big, I want to go out for a nice dinner or do something with my family that's special. These big goal rewards are something that you've set, and usually whatever you're going to do at the end of your big goal is also set early on. So once we get to 100 days of practice, we're going to go on a special family swim. Or once we have gotten to, through a particular thing that's being really difficult, once we've fixed a position point really well, we are going to go to a special park day. And I think that one of the things about big goal rewards is our default is let's go out for ice cream. And that's not a bad thing. That can be in your kind of toolbox of different rewards, but there are a lot of different things And one of the things that's going to be included in the links below is a list of ideas of things you can use for each kind of reward system. So go check out that link once the video is done and get your list of ideas so that you just have things to pull from. And you may find that some of those ideas resonate more with your one child. Maybe a different child is different. So you're going to find what really works for you. The last kind of reward that I really appreciate is a visual representation of hard work. And I mentioned before that we use a point system in my studio, and that is more about the visual representation of hard work than it is about anything else. Every week my students come in and they put their points up for the work that they have put in over the week. And this is just really important for them to see those points stacking up. It really helps them to have a visual of what they've been doing, because sometimes it feels like nothing has changed. But when we see that we're actually putting in the work, that really can help motivate. It's good for parents and it's good for students alike. You can do it a lot of different ways. You do not need to have a point system. So it can be counting days of practice. It can be doing a paper chain for each review piece. It can be some sort of practice tracker. And those are just a few ideas of how you can kind of have that visual representation for what you are doing on a day-to-day basis. So rewards, they need to be carefully thought out. They need to have a purpose and not be coerced. They need to be planned with a goal in mind. And this is how we can make using rewards successful. Just a reminder again, there's a link below to that printable to give you some ideas on different rewards that you can use with your students and your children. And if you have found that this is helpful to you, please subscribe and like this video. That really helps me a lot and is a great way to show your support. You can also share this video with another parent or maybe your teacher if you feel like it's something that they would find useful. I really look forward to seeing you in the next video, and happy practicing.